Hello, I'm Alan McCormick with Hydro Engineering. We've installed a locomotive wash system and we're going to go over operations of the equipment. We're going to go over as well how to use the process. So follow me. All right, let's talk about the actual startup procedures of both the hydroblaster, which is the high pressure washing system, and the foaming soap system. We'll start with the hydroblaster. It's pretty simple. You've got an on button and an on-off button for the pressure itself, and you've got a toggle switch that starts the burner so that you can run either hot or cold. Startup procedure is this. The high pressure hose must be connected to the gun, and you've got a variety of different links, whichever is most convenient. And I think I'll start with the smaller gun. So we make a connection to the hose. Prior to turning the system on, now we're able to turn the hydroblaster on, and the process should be push your start button and check your flow and pressure and make sure you're operating to pressure. Now, if you'll notice, this gun has a valve on it. This valve is to enable the operator to vary the pressure. If he gets into a corner, he can simply, by opening this valve, reduce his pressure. By going back to the closed position, he'll go back to full pressure. So let's go ahead and start it and see how this operates. We push our start button, and the system is on. Pull the trigger, and we check for full flow, and we have it. Check for a variable flow pattern, go back to full pressure. Now we can go ahead and start the heating system. When we turn the toggle switch on, the light will indicate that when we pull the trigger, the burner will go on. And you will notice very quickly, within 30 seconds, that we've got heat coming out the end of the wand. That is the basic startup procedure for this system. What we'd like to do in turning the machine off is just the opposite. We turn the burner switch off, we pull the trigger until we've got a cool to the touch wand. And at that point, we simply turn the hydroblaster off. Now, let's go ahead and show you operation of the foaming soap system. The wand on our foaming soap system is a trigger gun, and it's got a different size disconnect on it so that we can't mistakenly plug this into our high pressure line. So I'm going to walk over and grab my foaming soap line, and as soon as I plug it onto this, my soap will begin if I pull the trigger. I'll go do that and be right back. With the system on, I can plug this on and off. I've got a safety disconnect that has a valve in it that shuts flow off. So I'm ready to go, and when I pull the trigger, I'm going to have foaming soap. Basically, turn down of this system is simply to disconnect the hose, wind your hose back up on the reel, and you're ready to go. Now, operation of this system requires, before you start operating the equipment, to roll out as much hose as you're going to need. So we'll go ahead and roll out both the soap hose and the high pressure hose. We'll lock the hose reels in place so no more hose can be discharged off those reels, and then we're ready for our cleaning application. And I'm going to introduce Brian at that time, who's going to be doing the actual wash down of the locomotive. All right, I'd like to introduce Brian Jaramillo, better known as Hydro Man, that's going to demonstrate on cleaning the locomotive and the actual process of using the product to wash the locomotive. So Brian, why don't you show them what you do? We first of all extend the hoses out to the length that's going to allow us to reach from the back end to the front end, and then we lock that hose reel in place so no more hose can be discharged from the hose reel. And we do that first. Makes connection of the foaming soap to the foaming wand. Okay, let's go ahead and extend the hose out to the very end. I'll tell you when. What that allows him to do is it allows him, without having to stop in the process and unroll more hose, now he's got enough to do the entire job. Okay, now we do the same thing with the high pressure wand. He can grab the tool that he prefers most. And again, he'll extend the hose out until it's at the end of the locomotive so that we can lock those reels in place. We just use a little locking device right here. Holds those reels in so they can't move anymore. And again, notice he's connecting the high pressure hose to the gun before he turns it on. That is a must as well. Remember, the hydroblaster has to be turned off before you can disconnect the hose. Brian's made both connections now, both the soap and the high pressure water. He's going to go ahead and start applying the foaming soap, starting from the top, working down. He'll get that on his area, and then he will come back with the brush, brush it down again, and then take the hydroblaster to do the final rinse and wash. What we found is if we can foam the soap on, it stays on the surface, stays liquid. We come back with a foaming brush, and that foaming brush just breaks the surface tension of all the dirt. And then when we come back with the hydroblaster, it's a real easy process to just do the final cleaning. Okay, so he's completed the soap process. He's going to grab a foaming brush and brush that surface area down. Boy, is he good at that. Really no waiting period. It's just a matter of going through the process. As soon as you got the foaming soap on, you come back, you brush it in. As soon as you've brushed it in, you come back with the hydroblaster and wash it all off. Now to the rinse down cycle. Again, he'll do the startup procedure where he'll turn the hydroblaster on, check for flow. Now that he's got flow, he can turn it back on, turn the burner switch on, and he's ready to wash. Okay, now in the shutdown cycle, Brian will turn the burner switch off, trigger the hydroblaster, run it until it's cool to the touch, and you can feel the wand to get that coolness. Then he can turn the hydroblaster off. And it's as simple as that.
Let's go ahead and summarize what we've learned about the Hydro Engineering locomotive wash system. First of all protective gear has got to be in place. Your hard hat, face shield, ear protection, safety clothes, including rubber gloves, need to be on the operator. In the startup and shutdown of the system, startup being first, we need to connect both guns of the foaming brush and the hydroblaster before the system's turned on. First of startup in the hydroblaster, you turn it on, you recognize whether we've got flow and pressure, then you can go over and turn your heating system on, and likewise for shutdown, we turn the heating system off, we hold the wand to see if it's cooled down, we then can go shut the hydroblaster down. I'd like you to make sure that the hose reels are fully extended and the hose is in place before the operation begins, and the hose is locked on the hydroblaster. And then, of course, at the end, you're rolling in your hose completely. Let's not use the wands to open doors, and that's about it. Let's go to work, guys.
This video produced by Salt Lake Diesel Shop Media Center.